they're going to unleash the dogs on you. Watch out where they're going to come from. They're going to invent things. They're going to make things up. They're going to do an Oklahoma City. They're going to do a war. Something's going to happen. Mark my words. It may be the dogs of August right now. Maybe the dog day afternoon, the dog days of August. I am telling you that this government is desperate right now, and this group of gangsters who have waited 50 years to take complete power over this country, they're not going away so fast. They're capable of anything. Look what they did to Michael Savage. They got away with it, by the way. Make no mistake about it. You let me twist in the wind. Limbaugh let me twist in the wind. Hannity let me twist in the wind. Hemorrhoid let me twist in the wind. And I'm getting more pissed off at them than I am at the government. I expect this from the left-wingers. But I expected you to force these frauds to do something about it because I am a member of the American media. I have been banned from a Western European nation, not for killing somebody, but for speaking my mind and for having my words taken out of context by a front group for Hillary Clinton funded by George Soros. That's exactly what happened. And I am telling you that if they can do it to me, and they can continue to say to me things that they're saying and publish things about me that are untrue like this, it can happen to you, and it's going to happen to somebody else very soon in this country. And there will be more on that soon. When I publish my book, Banned in Britain, and soon it'll be up on my website for you to buy, you're going to see the inside story of what they've done to me and what they're going to do to you. Now, the reason I bring this up is not to complain. It's to tell you why they went after me. I am the most outspoken critic in the radio business of the New World Order. There are many others who are onto this. There are many others who are ahead of me on this, on the Internet. Many. Many. In fact, I dismissed it back in the 90s as crackpot stuff. But the more I've seen the closing circle of Marxism in the world, the more I have seen what Obama and his minions are doing, the more I have seen Hillary Clinton and Obama taking the side of a communist dictator in Honduras. I've come to understand we've had a communist revolution in America. It's been a bloodless one, comma, thus far, period. But we've had a communist revolution in America on a light note. They are absolute Marxists. For them to have lined up with Zelaya, who was thrown out by their own people, by his own people, and by the Honduran Supreme Court, for them to turn that into a coup shows you the danger you are in. And so they've gone after me because I'm a critic of the New World Order. They want to suppress my free speech, and they have done so in England. But they've not done it to anyone else in America yet. They're trying to do it now to the town hall people. You got the minions like the little man at CNN saying no more talk radio hosts on CNN. Now, I'm not affected by this because I've never been invited on CNN, not in recent years. But others would go on and voice their opinions and give some good facts, others in talk radio. Well, they've cut you off, haven't they? That's because Klein, the little man who runs CNN, Kleinman, little man, little Klein, little Kleiner, a kleiner little man, eine kleine Nachtmusik Klein. Little Kleiner, Kleiner Klein, Kleiner Klein has said no talk radio hosts on my network. Why? Because we need serious discussion of the issues. You need serious discussion of the issues? You need Nancy Grace for serious discussion of the issues? You need Wolf Blitzer for serious discussion of the issues? You need Anderson Cooper for serious discussion of the issues? These are all petty propagandists. So we understand to expect this from CNN. But the fact of the matter is, if you want serious discussion of the issues, I'm giving it to you on the Savage Nation. I have proposed 3 ways to cut back on health care costs that would save almost $1 trillion. 1, cap medical liability lawsuits to $250,000 the way it's done in California. Number 2, by doing that, you'll save about $500 billion, according to estimates done by serious scholars, in tests that are unneeded that are done as a result of defensive medicine from doctors who are afraid of being sued. Number 3, put a cop or a state trooper in every hospital. No ticky, no laundry, no citizenship, no treatment unless they pay for it. They're sending $25 billion a year home to Mexico. They can afford to pay for their child's flu treatment. I'll be right back.
Hi, it's Roger Hitchcock. Join me evenings starting at 7, right after Savage on Talk 910 KNEW.
Savage is one of the most popular conservative talk radio hosts in the country. His show, The Savage Nation, reaches more than 8 million listeners each week.
We so-called conservatives are actually the liberals of America. And the so-called liberals are the actual fascists of America.
Savage's disdain for the left is savage. One of his many books is called Liberalism is a Mental Disorder. But listeners to his show get a lot more than politics, as Kela Fasana tells us in his profile this week. Welcome back, Kay.
Thanks.
So the election of Barack Obama has put conservatives back in the opposition, and that has re-energized talk radio. Is that what got you interested in doing this piece? And why did you pick Michael Savage of all the conservative talk show hosts?
That's part of what got me interested in doing this piece. I'd heard him over the years and found myself listening to him a bunch last year during the election. And he was interesting partly because he seemed to be so off message.
Oh, I know what you're expecting, but you're not going to get it from me. You'll have to go to one of the other talk show hosts to get. Obama's a Marxist and McCain is a war hero. If that's what you want from now until November, you're on the wrong dial position.
Savage, despite being identified as a conservative talk show host, didn't really seem to like McCain that much. Definitely hated Obama. Didn't really like Bush.
So he was reacting really differently than the other conservative hosts.
Well, most of the other conservative hosts, no matter what the problems they might have had with McCain, were they certainly supported him.
Right.
And Savage really didn't. But Savage has always been a really kind of unusual, weird guy. His radio show isn't like anyone else's radio show.
Right. So he talks a lot less about politics than a lot of other talk show hosts.
Well, he's a lot less single-minded. He has this weird cluster of interests. He's interested in herbal medicine. He's interested in animals. He loves food. He loves to tell stories about, New York in the 50s and 60s. And he loves to talk about his life in a really unusual way. He has this kind of melancholy, depressive streak. And so the takeaway isn't necessarily, we're going to rally the troops and we're going to get this done politically. The takeaway is often, I'm probably going to go home and drink tonight. And that makes him a really interesting, really compelling character on the radio.
When the New Yorker comes up on a show like Savage's or Rush's, it's generally not in glowing terms. Michael Savage is, my guess, not a long-time subscriber to the magazine.
Well, he is a long-time reader.
He is?
Yeah, he grew up in New York, and he has said he did grow up reading it.
So how hard was it to get him to talk to you, and how did you go about that?
Well, basically, I sent a bunch of emails to his people and finally got an email back from him. He writes, all the emails I've ever gotten from him, I think, have been in all caps. And he was kind of like, what do you want? And so I kind of explained to him that I wanted to write a story about him, that I listened to his show, that I enjoyed his show. I think every email I wrote him, he read on the air.
Wow.
And so it was this weird kind of three-way conversation where I'd write him again in response to the discussion that I'd heard on the air. It was pretty strange. I think we have a clip of him describing one of the emails he sent back to me after I had written him, asking him to please talk to me.
So I sent him this note, and I said, the cartoon that goes with the story, will it show me in the Gestapo or an SA uniform? Surely you don't believe I don't know what you want to try to make of me. Why must everyone in journalism be so obvious? Why must all of you in the extreme media paint everyone you disagree with as demonic?
No, in fact, when I read your piece, I didn't think he came off as demonic at all.
When I actually finally kind of convinced him that, we should sit down and talk and it wasn't going to destroy his career, it was this kind of surreal thing because we had a great time. And, we had some beers and we sat on his porch, and he's a great host, and he was fun to talk to. I'd like to think he enjoyed the conversation, and I think there's something about him some part of him that thought it was really funny. On the radio the next day after the interview, one of the callers asked how it went, and he described me as looking a little bit like Obama, which coming from him, I think, was a deeply twisted kind of compliment.
We're not going to play extended clips of him on this podcast, but it sounds like from your piece, part of what's interesting is kind of where he goes in the extended form.
One of the things Michael Savage does better than just about anyone is he really exploits the medium of radio and the fact that his show is happening in real time and that you're hearing his thought process in real time. One of my favorite segments ever came when, he was doing a show, and during the break, someone sent him an envelope with a photograph of his father who died many decades ago. And this threw Michael Savage off completely. It was amazing to hear those things kind of battling in his head, to hear him sort of trying to stay on topic but getting thrown off topic by this picture in his hands.
Isn't it interesting how they love Islam? They can't get enough of it. They're experts in the Sunni sect, the Shia sect. Now you see, I'm what do you call it when you talk and talk? And he looked good. Look at this. I can't get it out of my head. I should have looked at these pictures. He was, God bless him. A lot of good it did him. The white, black hair, thin, kept in shape, and dead.
So, it's funny, but there's a real sense of loss and melancholy there too. And there's something about the way he kind of lays himself bare on the radio that's, to me at least, riveting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't think of another political show where someone is so personal about their life.
Yeah, and so willing to go wherever free association takes them.